Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us, Nosfer has taken a dominant victory over Zenecu in 3-0 fashion. Now, if you hear from the top of the show, we were hyping up our initial game that we wanted to see, which was Cypher versus Coollerz. Two legends in their own right. They're now finally ready to play that matchup out, Flea. So let's rewind time and start to break that one down again.
I mean, as we discussed earlier, we have two amazing players, right? Two of the absolute biggest names in Quake history, Cypher versus Coollerz. We already briefly went over it, but just to recap, Coollerz is a very controlling player, very dominant presence of the map, is known for just denying every single item on the map and just slowly constricting his opponent more and more and more until there's just nowhere left to run for his opponent as he finishes them off mercilessly. Meanwhile, Cypher is a very clever player who likes to think and play out of the box, can come up with these very innovative solutions and strategies on the spot, so we've got a bit of a clash of styles here.
Yeah, especially the fact that, it's Cypher the Cypher. He can cut through opponents very effectively. His rockets can be absolutely impactful when it comes to being able to initiate into fights. He's really drilled with them, I'd say. But he's pretty versatile. No matter what he has in his kit, his arsenal is always backed up by a very good understanding of combat skill. And I'd say probably some of the more strong mechanical understanding we see throughout Quake. I feel like his mechanics are really drilled. They're very honed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cypher is just, his mechanics are absolutely on point, but so is just his basic understanding of the game. In my opinion, he's one of the most talented players to ever play Quake, and that obviously makes a world of difference. But of course, that isn't to undersell his opponent. No. Coollerz, the king from Russia, an absolute monster in his own right, absolutely phenomenal aim, and is just the kind of player who can find a solution to pretty much anything, it seems like. He can adapt his playstyle extremely quickly and do a lot with whatever his opponent tries to throw at him.
Well, he is a stone-cold killer. This man does not sweat, he doesn't break, he doesn't do anything other than just literally be designed to play Quake to a ridiculous skill level. He is incredible, and I feel like obviously it's hard to sort of undersell him because of just how effective he is. We've seen it consistently time and time again. Won at Luka, but the biggest blip was, and still has to be a talking point because it's in recent history, was the fact that he went down hard in Poland.
Yeah, he lost 0-2. Lost both of his matches. Yeah, he lost first against Avek in the upper bracket and then immediately afterwards to Chain in the lower bracket. So Coollerz, after winning the entire tournament back in Italy, now just dropped out basically as soon as humanly possible without any wins to his name. And I think that a lot of people were really surprised, a little bit disappointed in that showing. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Coollerz is able to, adapt to that, maybe figure out what exactly was plaguing him, what caused him to lose those matches in such a fashion, and that he's now ready to come out swinging.
I do wonder how much it potentially could have affected him. And I suppose we'll find out as we are ready for the game. Cypher will be going up against Coollerz as we delve into this free map series here, our second game of the evening on the Quake Pro League Stage 3 kickoff. Let's see where this one's going to take us. Are we on Cypher's keep or Coollerz keep?
Well, this is going to be definitely the question that a lot of people are going to want to see answered. Cypher, of course, he's got the speed. You can see him flying around the map on that thick lizard of his. Whereas Coollerz, of course, much more of a defensible playstyle with the Galena instantly going after Cypher, nearly knocking... What? Cypher is still pursuing this. That's exactly what I was talking about. These clever, innovative plays out of the box. You wouldn't expect to see any of that. Coollerz nearly going down, but manages to instantly heal right back up using his own totems, the Mega, the Heavy, and now he's got a commanding position. Cypher doesn't have the lightning gun, and of course he is a huge target for LG and Shoddy.
This first minute is absolute madness already, and it's not even concluded yet, and it looks like it could be 3-0 before it actually hits 60 seconds, as Coollerz is just tearing Cypher to shreds.
Getting himself the Mega again. Wait, Cypher is putting himself in this position by going that side of the map. He's basically going to have to give up Heavy. I don't think it's mainly because he didn't have timing on the Heavy, so probably didn't want to take the risk, but he had an opportunity to really set himself up nicely there, but instead he prioritized Heavy Machine Gun, went around this side of the map, and now Coollerz got him on lockdown. Cypher does manage to escape from the bottom of the map. Mega up in just a few seconds. Is he going to make a move on it, or does the Russian again gets it uncontested? Yeah, Coollerz 0 damage taken. And Cypher, good defensive rockets, but he needs more.
He is being stripped of his flesh here. Coollerz with the LG out, hitting him with those gigawatts as he just burns him to shreds. Looks to try and do more damage as well. Wants to chain these kills together as much as feasibly possible. Coming up to 2 minutes now, and it's already a 4-0 scoreline in the frags. And Coollerz, he could make it 5, which he will. Pops the head off of Cypher as he busts through the door, waving the 4-4.
And this is what we mean when we were talking about Coollerz being the constrictor, trying to deny anything on the map. Cypher hasn't had LG at all.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he's had LG once in these 2 minutes and 20 seconds because Coollerz is just so dominant and is playing a very good positional game that stops his opponent from even getting towards the LG at all. Every single time that Cypher shows his face here, Coollerz is there to do damage and send the signal of, you know, if you go for LG, you're going to get stuck in that tiny little corner and I'm going to hurt you so badly. But this time around, though, I do think Cypher managed to get it. Coollerz is giving up positioning just so he can get the heavy instead, and he's more than happy to allow Cypher to get the shaft in exchange for the item.
It's a little bit of a better position to play from now. Cypher, he has his globules and his spit recharged, he's got an LG, and he also snatched away that Mega. Most of it's been diminished, and that's really going to do even more damage to him as he's punished there with a nice rocket from Coollerz. The stacks are vastly different, and Coollerz has a strong arsenal as well. He's also got momentum as he leaps round the corner and starts giving little love taps to Cypher.
And Cypher just can't really get a grip or a good read on any of the major items. If he does manage to steal one, Coollerz is just right there to do so much damage. Cypher now caught with like 10 points of health left. I think one bullet will finish him off. Got some more health to work with right now, but Coollerz not gonna just let him escape. I like these plays from Coollerz though. He's curbing his own aggression, right? That's one of the things that everyone knows about Coollerz. You have to know when to be aggressive and when to be not aggressive. And this is exactly a situation not to be aggressive. Just let him run. He's got no resources to work with. Look at that. Cypher doesn't even have armor yet. Finally picks up a small one, but Coolerz's stack is just thundering over his opponent.
Yeah, when it comes to fight or flight, Coollerz is definitely grade A at deciding when is the correct time to call. 4 minutes and 30 nearly into this matchup, and it has all been about Coollerz here, so I guess it is going to be Coollerz keep unless Cypher can somehow revitalize himself. He's not been able to get a very effective stack going over the course of the entire game so far, and that's still going to ring true, as now he has no stack. He's dead.
Yeah, he's done for. Back in the game now, though. But Mega's still 10 seconds out. Cypher actually getting stuck behind the statue. I don't know if he's got heavy machine gun. I do believe he does. He's just gonna jump right down. Spit won't connect. Mega up in 1 second. Can Cypher pick it up? He does. Coollerz in a bad spot. This should be going to the Belarusian player. But the shoddy will clean it up. Cypher, can he find the refrag? I don't think he will be able to. It's actually Coollerz landing some decent rockets right there. Cypher has no weapons ready to work with. Can the super shotgun make it work? Nope! Too much of a distance between him and his opponents.
Matt, this is the Coollerz we kind of came to expect to see, right? Just pure dominance and grade A excellence when it comes to the understanding of the map control, when to initiate, when to retreat, and just damn right when to frag. Finally, for once though, Cypher comes back in. There's definitely enough time for a resurgence to happen here as well. Do not count this man out.
Yeah, he definitely still has the opportunity to make a comeback happen, especially on a map like Corrupted Keep, because frags can snowball into one another so quickly, but this is such a risky push! He knew that the totem was up there, but he figured that he could take it.
That really could come back to haunt him. 9-1 now as Coollerz returns to be the focal point of the conversation. Rockets firing out instead, switches to that HMG to try and slap Cypher in the face, but it's not really working too well. He's at least been punished enough to have to retreat and use a totem for a cheeky pocket heal.
I like the little juke coming out of Coollerz, a little bit of damage on 2. He should be able to get the heavy as well. Drops right back down on it. Beautiful play from the Russian. I love the move right there. Going through the teleporter and then instantly just dropping right back down. Cypher figured he had the opportunity, but Coollerz actually just baited him into that one. Beautiful setup. And with 3.5 minutes left on the clock, the Belarusian player Cypher is struggling right now. The LG, he's actually got a stack advantage. Cypher should continue this fight, try and close the gap. Does decide to back away though, and that's going to again give Coollerz the opportunity to get onto the heavy.
Coollerz the king. Definitely ruling with an iron fist right now, and it makes me so happy, the sheer amount of Super Shotgun we've seen over the course of today already. Just with 2 series, Flea, there's so much bang for our buck.
It's such a fun weapon too, and it's so powerful, especially when you can use it against these bigger champions such as Sorlag or Keel, just because the surface that you can hit is so much larger. More of these pellets will hit, and you can just rack up the damage so quickly. And there we go, Cypher! Actually, that's a perfect frag at a really good time. He's gonna get himself heavy. Does he know Mega? I don't think he does have the item time, because otherwise he could have gotten over there first. Cypher, can he do enough heavy machine gun damage? Coollerz is just gonna sit there and wait. He says, you know what, I've got a 9 frag. Oh no! Hello! Showing his face for a moment too long as that rocket just hits him square to the face.
The rough part is, though, this game of cat and mouse involves Cypher having to chase, and chase hard. He needs to rack up these frags and chain them together in very quick succession. He will get one, but can he pick up another? Tracks down Coollerz, back again over towards the statue, looking for the frag, but look how low he is.
Should be able to get heavy, though, but he needs more than just the item. Coollerz now, really good positioning. Cypher, yeah, he realizes he can't stay around, has to vacate the area, but his stack is dwindling. Mega up around 6 seconds. Coollerz got the better positioning. Cypher, he needs to do a whole lot of damage right here. Is again going for the direct rocket. Won't work out this time. Coollerz! Oh, that rocket landing just on that little ledge. And with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, I feel like Cypher is almost out of opportunities. Coollerz just playing with him a little bit, it feels like, right there. Out comes the gauntlet. He's not even gonna go for heavy immediately, he's just gonna look at the self-control. That's what we're talking about. Coollerz, the Pac-Man, the Boa Constrictor, decides to just go for some smaller items on the map first, just before he picks up the heavy. Beautiful plays from the Russian. And Cypher, what are you doing in this situation? What can he do other than just die? Coollerz, looking good.
Yeah, Coollerz has come into this after really looking like a Taylor Swift fan. He has shaken it off from Poland, and I mean, he's crushing it right now. A 10 frag lead over Cypher. It could be added with an extra kill here as well. But luckily, Cypher retreats for the meantime. In the last 30 seconds of this game, it's just going to come down to style points between these two. There's no way Cypher can pick it up now. It's just too far gone.
Yeah, pretty much. We're gonna be moving into the second map shortly, as Coollerz, no doubt about it, will be finishing up map 1 in an extremely convincing fashion as well. Cypher struggling to really find a foothold whatsoever. Coollerz's defensive play was just so good, his aim, he landed a whole lot of damage and controlled most of the items for pretty much the entire map.
Oh yeah. Dominant stuff there. Coollerz, he just looked like the undisputed king the entire time. The control was huge, as you said, but more importantly, just the decision-making was ginormously smart.
I mean, just look at the item pickups right there. Cypher picked up a total of 9 major items. Coollerz, 28. It's almost 3 times. It is 3 times as much.
It's mad.
That's insane, right? And that kind of control, that's exactly what Coollerz is so well known for. And we were talking about that from the start, right? Coollerz just so capable of dominating every little aspect of the entire map and just choking his opponent out of resources. And Cypher just couldn't find the answer to it.
No, he just fell short when it came down to the big plays that would have saved his bacon. There was a couple of moments where it still looked like it could have been fairly tight, and also this initial 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous. The fact it literally went down to both of them being about, what, 1 to 5 stack each? And Cypher, he could have got the opening kill of the game. Instead, he went down 3-0 before 60 seconds, Flea. What a turn.
I mean, that's just one of the things that you see happen on a map like Corrupted Keep, right? It's one of the smallest maps in the game, and spawn fragging is kind of a very real thing, because 1 kill can so often snowball into 1 or 2 more if you can get to your opponent's respawn position before they're able to get a foothold and get themselves a little bit of stack and the weapons they need. You can just chain together those frags over and over again.
Yeah, And that's just what Coollerz did. He played it smart, and he played with that confidence, and just went out swinging. Completely destroyed Cypher here on the opening map. Although, Cypher is not the kind of opponent that once you beat once, that's it for the series. I don't feel like he's going to be completely knocked. I believe he'll probably take this just as a best of one now from this point forward and reset in the future maps.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Cypher's such an experienced dueler. He's got years and years and years of being one of Quake's most veteran players and contenders, so clearly he is not going to be too flustered by dropping a single map like this. And we discussed this a lot back at the Stage 2 finals. It is Corrupted Keep, right? It's a bit of a wild card. It's like the performances or the scores on these maps, they really shouldn't be like indicative of what happens elsewhere. Also, I absolutely love that frag. Coollerz going through the teleporter, Cypher knocking him back with so much LG that he just flew backwards and went back for another round on the merry-go-round as Cypher just stood there, waited, and finished them off. Beautiful stuff.
It was lovely. There was actually quite a few tasty little frags sprinkled in there. I like the super shotgun as well, coming out towards heavy. There was some big plays. Coollerz definitely showing that it's not all about playing smart Quake. It's also about playing stylish Quake.
Oh, absolutely, and we love that, right?
Oh,
and that's one of the reasons why Coollerz has so many fans, right? He's one of the most, if not the most popular Quake player on social media. Got a huge following of people that just love him for everything he does, and I mean, that's some of the stuff that he does best.
Oh yeah, I think in terms of like raw fan base, he probably has the largest and loudest crowd because people love a bit of Coollerz, and why wouldn't you, right?
Oh, absolutely. Chat, let us hear it as we are about to jump into the second map. Who do you think is going to take this one home? Who is your favorite player? Show some hype as we're getting into Cypher versus Coollerz. Map 2, it's Blood Run, and we've got Visor going up against Nyx.
And who is going to be running away with this one? Big oof indeed coming out from Cypher as Coollerz will land the initiation rail to start this one off. Oh, there's a second flea. This could actually start off incredibly tantalizing. It's already giving us some interesting initiation from Coollerz. Although at least for now it starts to slow down a little bit. Cypher picks up the light and dials back the timing, isn't going overly aggressive as he tiptoes around looking for his opening moment into this game. Heavy's late though, 5 seconds is a bit too early.
Yeah, that's dangerous for Cypher. Good rockets though, he needs some more. Coollerz he doesn't even have the Ghost Walk. But Cypher actually just lets him escape the room, doesn't do enough to chase down the Russian. Here we go, Coollerz, he does have the Ghost Walk this time, he actually pops it. Cypher, he's to your left, can he find him? The LG is solid enough and Coollerz will go down. We're seeing a reversal of the previous map as Cypher is the first one to put himself on the board.
Yeah, a nice way to bring it back from the early poking and prodding that Coollerz was doing to start this map. A bit of a trading going on with the major items as well. Coollerz has claimed the Mega, and it seems like Cypher wants to remain controlling of that heavy. Tribolt going out to do a little bit of splash damage across, but he's still quite worse for wear. Does use the visor. That'll give him clear vision, but that's 20/20 just to see these Tribolt bullets hitting him right in the face.
That is such an awful position to be in, because you know that the Tribolt can get you in the corner, and I think that Cypher most definitely overstayed his welcome right there. Should have been out of there so much sooner. Coollerz was outstacking him basically from the get-go, and then when these Tribolts just started bringing the pain, then there's so little that you can do.
We knew he could just carry on with that rolling thunder and hit over and over again until he actually left Cypher meeting his maker. Not again, surely. The Tribolt's still coming out and packing such a punch. The heavy is now firmly stapled as part of Coollerz as well.
Yeah, Coollerz 1-1. He's got the mobility to his name, he's got the evasiveness as well, but Cypher, he's got the information, he's got the piercing sight, just gonna drop right down and pays dearly for it. Cypher looking for a way out. He's careful because he knows that if he goes through and Coollerz manages to catch him just like that, the jump across, beautiful play from Coollerz. I think that Cypher was just completely expecting Coollerz to have disappeared from that position already, but nope, the Russian was just waiting patiently, setting up his net, and the LG into the wall. At least the silver lining in that situation is that Cypher did manage to pick up heavy just before he died, so that means that Coollerz has got very little armor to work with. And maybe that's the slight edge that Cypher needs to tie things back up soon.
Coollerz looking like a trapdoor spider right now as he just hunkers down and plays for trap-style Quake. It's working out fairly effectively for him. Can he get control of the major item as well? The timing's going to come in clutch as he grabs that heavy. Both of them so close towards death's door, though, as they stay alive at around 5 HP each. The Tri-Bolt still coming out to haunt Cypher, but luckily he survives 4 now. It's going to be a Tri-Bolt off.
Cypher is sticking around, does decide to go through the teleporter. He was waiting for that small armor to spawn. I think he had a pretty good idea of the timing on that one, but he realized in time that Coollerz coming towards him was a bit much to deal with the stack that he did have. Can he do some damage right here? Excellent little rail coming out of Coollerz. Hang on, this is very interesting positioning from Coollerz. 200 IQ plays instead of just going for heavy.
Oh!
Okay.
That is filthy.
Beautiful rocket. Perfect read from the Russian. Cypher got nowhere to go right there, and now 4-1. This is going to be tricky if it comes down to a race for frags in the end. Make it 5-1. Coollerz not slowing down just yet. Cypher unable to find an answer.
You cannot be doing this on Twitch, Coollerz. This is not appropriate for this audience as he looks to try and continue it as well. 6-1. Someone stop this man.
Cypher needs to go back to the basics. He needs to slow play it. He needs to have a pretty good idea. Coollerz is below you. Don't want to drop for that. Get yourself another small armor first. Play it safe. You've got time, okay? We're not even halfway through the map. You can still make the comeback happen, but you don't want to surrender any more frags to your opponent right now. Coollerz, though, playing a really sneaky game. 1, 2, misses the rail. Hang on, he's just gonna chase him down. He says, hey, I've done enough. I've done more than enough damage with those opening shots, and now I can just finish it off. Cypher does have the better positioning on Mega right here, but he has to surrender positioning. Coollerz standing his ground, and with the injection of the Mega, he will be able to take down his opponent again.
Finally, he should fall, but no, the Ghost Walk comes in clutch. He's able to evaporate and quickly get out of there. Repositions, Gauntlet out, takes one warning bullet to the lips and decides against the push. Instead, just going to sit in the blood and regenerate some health. 8-1 right now. Coollerz is so huge at the minute. Cypher needs to stop him. He has to try and slow down this momentum, as Coollerz is just going from leaps and bounds in this game.
Cypher definitely has the stack advantage right now, but Coollerz has just switched to a very defensive playstyle set up here towards the nail gun area of the map. Cypher's below him. Yeah, he heard that right. Good pick up from Coollerz, knowing exactly where his opponent is. And Cypher, he's just cycling both of the major items, and what we're seeing right now is classic blood run. One of the two players is just completely in control, gets every single major item time and time again, and the other one just doesn't care. The other one's more than happy to set up in one of these top areas of the map and wait things out. Here we go. Cypher does find Coollerz. Coollerz uses the Ghost Talk. This is Cypher's opportunity. Coollerz right now, 40 seconds, make that 30 or so without that evasive ability. This is Cypher's shot. He needs to catch his opponent now.
It's so rough as well, because it is truly a yin and yang battle between these two champions, where Visor obviously has the tactical vision to pop, and we've got the Ghost Walk coming out, but Coollerz, he's pretty much had the control of all the hourglasses, but he does need to control the pace of the game still. We're coming up to 7 minutes. That direct could do a lot for him, but instead it's the lightning gun from Cypher. Finally, a second frag on the board.
Yep, good timing to take that fight too, because the Mega spawned just afterwards. That's one. Can he make it two? Coollerz still hiding behind the pillar. Cypher doesn't really know where his opponent is at, decides not to take the risk, and that's a wise choice, because one more frag, I believe if he drops one more, he's in some real deep trouble. Mega is up in 10 seconds. Cypher doesn't just want to take position, instead just loops around the map. Yeah. Smart decision to go back for that one. Don't want to leave that up. Even if you don't really need it, you don't want to give it to Coollerz once you regain control.
The Tri-Bolt literally is the bane of his existence right now. There's been so many opportunities where Cypher might have got a follow-up frag and just got slapped in the face by 3 straight shots from that Tri-Bolt. He does get the heavy this time around, and he is low. A near miss with the rail, but he is going to be glowing with confidence. He needs to work off the back of it, but he can't. He's not pushing. He doesn't try and go for the aggressive play. And Coollerz, he's just burning that clock off. There's going to be no time left to play with, Flea.
Coollerz is reading him so nicely as well. Cypher popped. Piercing sight. Cooler knew exactly where he was, faked him out, tried to pretend to go towards Mega. Cypher drops down to Mega. Cooler just turns right around, goes through the teleporter, and makes it straight to the top side of the map. And now one of the only things that Cypher can do is hope to set a trap and spring it at just the right time. But look at that! Cooler, with such a lead that he has, not switching to a full-on defensive play, Cooler is still in control, has both of the major items to his name, and doesn't at all sit and wait the clock down, but he's content and absolutely determined to show everyone what he's worth. And Cypher, yeah, he's waiting for the small armor, but he doesn't have time, Jackie.
No. This is not going to do anything for him, really, at this point, right? It's 8-2. Cooler with a gigantic stack and an even bigger lead. The likelihood of Cypher really getting into this game is absolutely minute at this point, and he's still getting tagged as well. The rocket's just slowing down any chance of him going overly aggressive. It's a very awkward stalemate, both of them just trying to get the rails off, and in the end, Cypher will be able to overthrow Cooler an extra time into the game, but in 60 seconds, is this really achievable?
Only time will tell. I also loved the Cooler dodge right there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Very famous saying that the best dodge is no dodge. Cooler just stands still and takes it. But Cypher had it down perfectly and just waited and landed all three of his rails back to back to back. So the Cooler dodge didn't quite work out, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, I don't think it really mattered. Cooler even manages to pick up the mega health right in front of Cypher. Right now, I think this is over and done with for the Belarusian player. Cypher, even if he can get one frag, two frags in the time he's got left, it's all for nothing, as Cooler is set to at least take this one 2-0 at the least, Jackie.
Yeah, it's already a big feat so far for Cooler. He's definitely come in looking like the Cooler we expect to see. Very dominant, very deadly, and incredibly precise in the way that he's been playing it. Yep. 2 maps already picked up. There is a third to go. There is an opportunity, though, for Cypher to obviously deny the ridiculous injection of points that Cooler could get if he finds all 3 maps, but that's not going to be easy based off what we've just seen.
Oh yeah, of course, and just to reiterate how that works, it's 8 points for a map win, so that can be 16 if you win 2-1, but if you win all 3, things are essentially doubled, and you can walk home with 32 points on the leaderboard if you wipe your opponent cleanly with a 3-0 win, and of course that's what Cooler really wants, and Cypher is determined to try and deny.
Yeah, obviously your best bet throughout the course of the league is to try and stop your opponents from skyrocketing too high. So if you can try and cut that down, at least leave it with a more manageable 16 points, you can catch up easier. So It does make sense why there's a lot of weight still on the series. Even though Cypher obviously can't pick up the series win, he can still at least get some points for himself.
Watching back, Cypher really liked setting himself up in that tiny little corner at the teleporter exit, and Cooler just took advantage of it. And this is just, it's classic Cooler, denying every single little thing on the map and setting up these little traps, right? Cooler just spent so much time standing still, listening out, waiting for Cypher down at LG, up towards Heavy, and then the moment his opponent makes a move and thinks it's safe to, you know, drop down or jump across towards Tribolt, Cooler's like, peek-boo, bam, down you go. And that's all she wrote. So really clever plays. Here we go. This is the Cooler dodge. Cooler just standing completely still in between dodges. But Cypher, not fazed by it at all.
Smart reads from both of these players over the course of this one, but the dominance was definitely in favor of Cooler. In terms of just looking well-rounded right now, he's a perfect sphere.
Oh, absolutely, and that's one of the things that we say so often when it comes to Cooler, right? So if you look back at the very beginning of the Quake Pro League at QuakeCon, Cooler won more matches than anyone else over the course of the global round robin, which pit every single player against every single other contestant in the Quake Pro League. And Cooler just proved himself to be better than every last one of them. So the man has got a tremendous amount of skill, and he's displaying it for us right now.
Yeah, which is a lovely thing to witness in our second series of the day here on the Quake Pro League. There's so much more to come up tonight, but there is still a third and final map between these two as well. So it truly is going to be a fantastic affair. Is there an opportunity for Cypher to come back into it now, Flea? Do you feel like he's going to be dead in the water, or are you confident he could try and slide back in?
There definitely is an opportunity.
Do you feel like he could take it?
With the way things have been going, Coollerz has just been looking a little too dominant for my liking to give Cypher really a good opportunity to take another map, because it's gonna come down to the start, right? We've seen this every map in the series so far. Coollerz gets an early lead, or even if Cypher gets one frag, Coollerz is so quick to be like, okay, I'm gonna immediately turn that around and get 3 frags on you within the next minute or two. So if Cypher can stabilize during the first few minutes and maybe even build up a lead, I'd say that yes, he can take this one. But if Coollerz gets a lead early on in the game, I feel like it's gonna be the Russian trioing this one.
Well, let's find out. He's called the Heartbreaker for a reason, so he's going to try and upset Coollerz here if he can come through and deny the mass point injection. But it all comes down to this. This is the decider between these two. Is it going to be a 3-0 or a 2-1 series? It's up to Cypher now as we delve into the action.
Coollerz positioning himself on the catwalk again, as we always say, very nice centrally on the map, just keeping a very nice oversight of everything that's going on. Has got a lot of angles, possibilities to, deploy himself all over the map. Cypher taking him by surprise completely, and Coollerz actually dropping, say, like 45, 60 points of damage right there. That's a good opening from Cypher. Interesting champion matchup too. Coollerz, as we mentioned earlier, he's got the horizontal speed, whereas Cypher has got the vertical one.
The slower start we've had out of these two with the way they've been playing previously. A minute's passed and no blood spilled yet. Differences here. Let's see if that will maintain throughout the game. Coollerz going a little bit more aggressive as he works his way back over towards the heavy though. They catch a glimpse of each other. The LG comes out, but it's going to be the rail that really packs a punch. Ooh, LG finish, and that is the first frag. Only 24 seconds behind schedule.
Yeah, this is grim for Cypher, as I call at the start. If he gets behind too far at the beginning, he's gonna struggle making his way into this map at all. I don't think he should contest for Mega just yet, because he has way too few weapons to work with. All he's got is the rocket and the heavy machine gun. Good amount of cess damage, sure, but he needs to prioritize getting a railgun and a lightning gun as well. Because otherwise, like, yeah, okay, you might land 1 or 2 bullets, but if Coollerz lands a rail, he's just getting so much more utility out of these engagements than you. And that's what happens when you don't have an LG or a shotgun, or you don't have the railgun at the ready. Coollerz, beautiful use of the Pika right there. You very rarely see the robot being used just to do the damage like that. Usually it's all about the kamikaze, but Coollerz, very confident play right there.
That's nice. I think that's actually a good point as well to make, because we're seeing a little bit more of that. We saw it obviously at the Stage 2 finals as well, where we were seeing more poke coming out from Pika rather than just the all-out dive bomb aggression. So could be an interesting development to see if that continues as a trend.
This time around, Cypher does manage to get himself the lightning gun. That's a weapon he lacked in the previous engagement, but Coollerz, his stack is just phenomenal, and Cypher doesn't have the rail yet. Coollerz knows this, setting up to be a little bit more defensively. Damage being exchanged. Cypher, that knockdown, that should secure him the mega health. Cypher will be able to secure the big health, outstacking his opponent. But Coollerz, excellent positioning right here, just not ready for the speed. This should be a Cypher frag. I like that. Really well played. Coollerz had a great setup right there, trying to tri-bolt a little bit defensively, but Cypher, he just absolutely had the speed to get there first, and there was nothing Coollerz could do about it.
This is worrying though. He fully committed to this frag off the back of the spawn. Cypher was hungry to try and punish and get a second picked up early. Instead, I feel like he might have just conceded control of the heavy. Luckily enough, he's got there in the nick of time. Was able to slowly backtrack towards it whilst looking to deal damage. Coollerz recovers a railgun. Let's see if he can do anything with it.
Such a shame that Cypher turned away a moment before Coollerz rounded the corner, because that would have been such a useful rail to land. Hang on! Russian getting... Whoa! The telefrag! Coollerz just playing the dancing game with the teleporter, and Cypher is a little too slow to follow him through it, and he goes down in the worst possible fashion, Jackie.
That is so rough. Also, that was a beautiful rail, and he's sustaining these as well. 5 left to work with, but I don't think he'll need all of them if he carries on landing them like he has been, as he starts to whittle his way through Cypher's stack. He did pick up the heavy, but you wouldn't realize it from looking at his stack now.
That was a really good play from Coollerz. He knew Cypher didn't have the railgun. He knew he could take that long distance fight, and he's got confidence in his aim as well. So once he lands those first few shots, he's like, you know what? No reason for me to stop now. I'm just gonna sit back here. The worst he can do is assess me a little bit with that heavy machine gun, deal maybe 50, 60 points of damage. I'll take that risk. I've already landed some rails on him. I'm going to press on right now. And even though Cypher did manage to escape and now secure the mega health, Coollerz is still looking really solid. Has got the weapon advantage, got an excellent positioning right here, and obviously Cypher's the one trailing in points.
Oh, he was set up for so long watching that angle, but the timing's not going to work out very well for him. Just as Cypher comes back over, Coollerz had repositioned. He was a little bit slow on the flick with that rail, but the rocket's going to do a ton of damage, and it might just be a rocket salvo to kill him here.
Cypher, I think he fumbled his movement. He thought he could just take a step to the right and be clear around the corner, but the tiny little ledge that stuck out right there just held him in place and allowed Coollerz to just mercilessly pummel him. Fortunately for him, Cypher's lucky he got out with his life right there, because that could have been a death sentence so easily.
Cypher is getting punished here. The drop down from Coollerz from the top rope hits him with the elbow. And that is going to be Cypher clean out of commission. Nearly 6 minutes have passed, and there is a free frag advantage for Coollerz. Can he make it 5 here? Rail at the ready, knows the location of Cypher as they fall into a game of chicken.
Yeah, Coollerz gonna hear him. Knows that he dropped down, misses the rail though, but it doesn't matter. The Russian's got the better positioning. He's got everything going for him. He's gonna set up another trap. This is what we saw in the previous maps from Coollerz as well. Trying to slow down the pace of the game, set himself up nicely. He's got a pretty decent idea of where Cypher is. He thinks, fortunately for him, he's completely wrong, because Cypher's over at the railgun side on map and actually steals away heavy. Coollerz is like, okay, well, at this point he figures out what happened, realizes that he lost his item, just goes for Mega instead. There we go, lands a rail, catches sight, gets another one, a drive-by rail indeed. A little bit more damage is all it takes. Where's Cypher though? Cypher's down at the blood pool.
Coollerz starting to get a little bit more aggressive with his movement as he's leaping around, hunting down Cypher, getting hungry for another kill to be added to his tally. Spots him out as he looks back over towards the Mega and makes his mad dash across, but isn't going to go for the Mega play. Instead jumps on the trail and looks for another potential pick up against Cypher. He will concede the heavy, but damage starts to come through, and Cypher, you get a heavy, but you don't have any lungs anymore.
Oh, whoa, fumbling the rocket jump twice. He knows he has to cede positioning. Cypher, does he know Mega is still up? I don't think so. Coollerz gonna catch a bit of a lucky break right there. If Cypher had just gone straight for the major item, the Russian would have been in quite a bit of trouble. But that was a brilliant play on the heavy, leaving Mega up, knowing that he had enough stack to take the fight anyways, and then just finishing Cypher off beautifully. And Cypher, again, maybe overstaying his welcome. He needs to land the rails. Coollerz picked up heavy. Cypher wants to do at least some damage so that he's not going up against a beastly stack. But it's not gonna work out. Nice use of the peeker right there.
Yeah.
A little scary, a little worrying. I like that from Cypher. Staying just out of reach of the LG and doing some nice machine gun damage. Too bad for him it was only the basic machine gun, not the heavy one.
Oh, the problem is as well, this is where we're really starting to see the movement come out from Coollerz, and we're taking away the edge that it gives him. As he darted across from Mega to heavy in a matter of seconds, caught Cypher off guard and completely destroys him. It's 7-1.
I just want to shout out that rocket jump right there. That was amazing. That's one of like the things that we mean when we say Coollerz is so quick to adapt to whatever his opponent does. He knew that standing down there on the stairs put him in a really bad position to fight against that heavy nail gun. So he rocket jumps off mid-fight in plain view of his opponent just to get further away from him, where he knows that the nail gun won't be able to do consistent damage. And then he just looks right back and he's like, okay, now we're fighting on my terms with my gun, and then he takes the frag. Beautiful stuff.
Well, it's also a great understanding of prioritizing against what arsenal your opponent has as well. What weapons can they use against you? Oh, but showing off what weapons Coollerz can use to high skill, it's pretty much all of them as the rail comes out.
Juicy indeed. Peeker into rail, not something you see every day, and the LG is merciless. Cypher Less than a minute to go. This is shaping up to be a drastic trio for Coollerz.
Ooh, the chase. LG into rail. He boops him straight across as he's going to be able to pick up a free heavy, but I don't think Cypher's going to get anything else out of this. Coollerz could be looking for a nice double digits 10 to close this one out with, as he snatches that mega and goes on the hunt one final time in this series.
It's a good thing Cypher didn't double jump right there, or he would have flown straight off the map. If he had double jumped over heavy, that LG into the rail would have sent him flying to his death. But either way, I don't think it makes all that much of a difference. Coollerz heavy is waiting behind him. Does he? Is he just gonna ignore it? Looks like it. He says, I'm done. I've won. Don't need it anymore. As I clean this one up. 3-0. GG's indeed. Cypher, despite having the better showing at the Stage 2 finals, definitely somewhat outclassed by Coollerz this time around.
Yeah, Coollerz just large and in charge there throughout that entire series, looking commanding on the battlefield.
Yep.
And really just returning to form after his display in Poland.
Yeah, and I think a lot of his fans are going to be very happy seeing that, right? And hopefully we can move on and look back at Stage 2 as just a little bit of a fumble.
A blip,
a blip. Who knows what happened right there? Who cares as long as Coollerz brings it back and gets back to the level that we know him as.
Yeah. He took that victory in Luka, and now he destroys on the server here in his opening game in Stage 3. He's taken Stage 2 out of his memory. And let's see if this could be where he makes some new, better memories throughout the course of this stage. A huge display of skill versus Cypher. He has really hit him with a rhino and ripped him a new one.
Oh, this one just so painful because Cypher had him pinned so nicely there. The rocket up against the wall for the direct. There was 170 damage right there. And then just a telefrag out of nowhere. That's just gotta hurt. Overall, though, a very enjoyable series. Some of the biggest names, best players in all of Quake duking it out in front of our very eyes once again. But a deserved win for Coollerz, I feel like.
Yeah, it really is a big European brawl that we've just had there. Some huge famous Quake players. So
yep.
Definitely an exciting start to the season, as there was some damaging performances from both of them. But Coollerz just looking like he has a huge edge at the minute.
Yeah, he played the game that we know him for. Nothing else really to be said, right? He held control of the center area of the map, just sat on it, and then used that as kind of a base to just go and collect all of the major items, lesser items as well, just denying everything from his opponent, and then just slowly choking him out and making some really clever plays while he's at it, whereas Cypher was just unable to break that control. Really just didn't find a way to deal with Cooller's dominance on the map.
Yeah, well, it's the fact as well, Coollerz came into it and always just had the hot hand. He was the one that was getting the first opening frags.
Yep.
He was always able to really set the pace of the game, whereas Cypher was consistently on the back foot. It was about him returning into the matchup rather than really being able to set a precedent.
And yeah, it's what I said towards when we started this map too, right? If Cypher is able to break the pattern that we've seen and not get behind 3-4 frags within the first few minutes, he has a good chance. But unfortunately for him, Coollerz just, again, really strong showing at the beginning, leading 3-1 just minutes into the map, and then Cypher just unable to catch up.
It all fell a bit from there. More to come, though, on tonight's broadcast, as Kilson will be facing off versus Tox. Up next, it should be a really flamboyant affair. Bloodrun, Awoken, and Molten. There's going to be some heat coming out of our third game of the evening. You will not want to miss it, so keep it locked here on twitch.tv/Quake. When we come back in, we'll see if the Cheetah can overthrow the Viking.